Hello everybody and welcome back to Quest 64. We are going to dive right in to Mammon's world. Once you go here, through the portal, you cannot go back, and in order to enter the world, you do need the Yellowtail book from Shannon. So let's get started. This place surprisingly has monster encounters, and they are all very, very tough. I guess Mammon is on some sort of LSD acid trip because nothing about his world makes any sense. However, it is pretty cool just to get a kind of nonsensical type world for the end of the game. The first door is over to the east. There's only one door to go through in each room. So again, this place is fairly linear. But it's pretty long and drawn out, I do say myself, or in my opinion anyways. They could have just warped us straight to Mammon and I would have been completely happy about that. Mostly for the fact that grinding doesn't do anything in this game anymore at this point. So to me, having a area with a bunch of really tough monsters thrown in is just there to kind of throw you off. And perhaps even kill you before you get a chance to get to Mammon if you're not careful. This room here with all these squares has no monster encounters. It's just a big, long hallway. And again, I don't know why they put this part in either. It seems completely unnecessary. But I guess I do appreciate that they try to do something. And seeing as how we don't really know anything about Mammon, what kind of world would they make, I do suppose. It's got the big ominous music, at the very least, which I kind of like. I was getting a little sick and tired of all of that complete silence back in the last area. Now, when you come to this room, it's actually a complete dead end. This looks like Flora's room in Dondoran Castle. So go back out. And now we're coming to a room filled with bright, colorful pink bubbles. I don't know if these are all supposed to represent something or not. A few of the rooms will have the same color scheme, I think just to throw you off. You can go back through the doors that you have gone through previously, but that's just going to set you back quite a ways. Now these guys, the Pale Riders, are pretty easy to defeat. They are wind though, so my wind attacks don't do a whole lot of damage. Avalanche, however, does huge damage. So I recommend using that if you do want to fight against some of these guys. I mean, if you want to, you can get a few more points, perhaps into HP, a couple more MP, a little bit more agility, which may or may not help you when you come to the final boss. I'll fight a couple of enemies just for demonstration. There's a couple of them I do want to stay completely away from, however, because they're very strong. With this enemy being the exact example I was thinking of, these pinheads can do 60, 70, 80 damage per turn, which I am just completely 100% not interested in dealing with. However, the Pale Riders are alright. There's an enemy called Judgment, which is also very easy to defeat. It's like a big stone statue, and these guys aren't so bad either. The Spriggans, I like to attack them with wind. I pretty much like to attack everything with wind at this point in the game. I do believe that these guys are fire, and they have that silencing attack that we were seeing earlier with the nightmares back in the desert. So those are the only 4 varieties you'll see in here, with the pinhead being the most dangerous. And here's a house similar to one in Limland. There is nothing upstairs, so don't bother, just go back through the door. There are no spirits and no chests to collect in here, so don't worry about missing anything because there is nothing to collect. It's just a matter of going through this world and finally meeting up with Mammon. Now I find that in this room, that big pillar behind me makes it an awful camera angle to try and fight anything in here. If I were to be fighting, it kind of gets in the way, and it makes it difficult for me to run away because I can't see what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna run away from these guys. I'm not even gonna bother. At this point, I just want to be done with this game. I'm so close to the end. But still, things are trying to kind of slow me down. This place reminds me of the forest that we fought Zelsi in, except that it's got a bunch of dead trees. So a couple of the areas in this world represent real places within Keltland, like Limlin and like Flora's bedroom, or one of the rooms in Dondran's castle anyways. And this place semi-resembles a couple of the forests we've been in. I think it was Windward Forest, was it not? There has been so many forests that I forget. And again with a nice colorful bubbly background. Through the next door. This is actually one of the areas where you can get lost, because most of the rooms that we've come into, you've just gone back through the door you came. You may think that that's actually what you want to do, but it's not. If you do that, you'll be turned around in a complete circle. So what you want to do is you want to go downstairs and you want to try this door out. That actually caught me off guard. I tried to go through that door I came in through, because I figured that when I come to these dead-end rooms, the only thing I can do is go back. But what I suggest doing is when you come to one of those real-life places, is to first search around the place and see if there is an alternate door. Because if there is, A, you'll be able to go through it, or B, it'll be locked and you know that there's only one way to go. But I think that's about the only place that would throw you off of the main path. And again, here's another one of these checkerboard places with no enemy encounters. They just need a couple of chess pieces in here. It reminds me of a gigantic chessboard of sorts, with the black ominous in the background. This place isn't very long. It just feels long because of how many doors you have to go through. And a lot of the time there's not a whole lot in the area you go through, so you're just walking along trying to get to the next area. And here we go. Hey, it's Epona. Who actually knew we'd find a person in here? I've been waiting for you. This is the very last place where someone might come to your aid. From this point on, no one will be able to help you. So will you rest now? What do you say? Okay, so this is your single save space that you get over here in Mammon's world. I had mentioned that when we met with Leonardo, that was the last save point. But more what I meant, it was the last save point before the point of no return. And from Leonardo, you would have to fight King Bigus and come into Mammon's world to find Epona. So this is kind of your save point before the final boss. And once you've spoken with her and saved up, go ahead and go back out the door you came. And hey, we're back in Melroad. It has been a while since we've been here. You guys remember Melroad? It was our starting town. So in here you might get a little bit lost. You might try to go through the doors to see where you need to go next, because there are a lot of doors. But just to save you all some time, the only door that's open will be the one going towards the monastery. If I can find it, of course. It's this way, I do believe. And this should actually be our final door before we can go see Mammon, so they do give you a save point really, really close to where the boss battle is, so that's really neat. We have another dead forest to go through. Maybe there's a couple more screens than I thought. But that's alright, the end is almost near. And I was actually surprised there haven't been that many enemy encounters. I thought they all just gave up. But they haven't, they're still kicking around. How foolish of me to assume that. I could try fighting one of these guys, I guess, if I wanted to. But I feel like that would just be a big waste of time and a big waste of items. Not that I need my items, I still have plenty, and I actually don't plan on using that many for the final boss. Which you may find hard to believe. Ah, here's Shannon again. This marks the end of our journey. Brian, you've gotten this far. If you keep going forward, you'll find your quest. Then my job will be over too. I am a puppet made only for the purpose of leading you. I went out among the people so that I might lead you. I knew nothing of the real world and its foolish people who were doomed to die. But why are humans so strong? With all of their grief, sorrow, happiness, and anger, why do they shine so brightly? The warmth of fire, the winds in the field, the miracle of water, the abundant harvest. For all of these, they give their thanks with prayer. Tell me, Brian, is that what life is about? I'm a puppet, and I just don't understand. I am not of the human spirit. Sorry to complain. If you have the book and the magic stone, this key will open the gaol, which I guess means imprisonment or jail. For those of you wondering, your job is over here. Farewell. And she actually teleports us to what is going to be the stage for our final boss battle. Although this video is short and I could fit the battle into this video, I think we'll save it. Now that we've gone through Mammon's world, the very last thing that we have to do is to fight Mammon. Up the path is where our final boss awaits. So, I hope you will join me then for the final video in Quest 64. Thank you so very much for watching.